Hello, once again. This is Dr. Palma, and today we are going to discuss another topic about research. So, before anything else, allow me to invite you to join in my webinar to earn 15 CPD units. And you can find the accreditation number at the PRC. Okay. Website for the CPD programs, and this is accredited by PRC, PTR 202135412295. This is the accreditation number. You can contact me at or you can email me at contact@apalma.info, okay, for reservation and other for more inquiries. Okay, so okay, once again, I am a PhD in development research and administration. I'm the academic head and research director of Brockenshire College, Toril. I'm an author, publisher recognized by the National Book Development Board. I'm also a research consultant and international peer reviewer at Springer. You can find my researches on Google Scholar, and I'm also a licensed professional teacher and a proprietor of Artelo Palma Book Publishing. Okay, so the title of my program is, this is the name of my program, Doing Academic Research, or Doing Academic Research the Easier Way, PTR 202135412295. As I've said, that's my accreditation number for this program. Okay, so our topic this morning, or our topic for today, is this one. Does qualitative research begin with title formulation? The last time we discussed about quantitative research, so you can review my, you can go to my YouTube channel and find for my previous topic, okay, about quantitative research. That's topic 1. Okay, so you can check my YouTube channel for that. Okay, so for today, okay, let's proceed to qualitative research. Okay, and these are the learning outcomes. Learners will propose a statement of the problem and a way to construct and deconstruct a theory, and participants will learn the importance of a research gap in the literature, and also you, the learner, will develop inductive reasoning skills with your output as the basis of your progress. Okay, so let's review once again. Of course, I'm not gonna discuss them one by one here, but let's just go through, okay, or we'll just run through the topics I've discussed already in my previous video. Okay, so as I've said, your academic research will never be off if it's founded by the appropriate philosophy and principle of scientific thought. And as I've said, academic research should be both science and art, and that includes your creativity. Okay, so we discussed about scientific thought. Okay, of course, we tried to understand the philosophy associated with quantitative research, and it's the same thing, of course, with quantitative or qualitative research. So it's a combination of rationalism and empiricism when we talk about deductive, quantitative research, because it's deductive. Okay, so it begins from the theory and down to hypothesis testing, but that's of course based on the philosophy of rationalism and empiricism. So in rationalism, it believes that the world can be understood through logical reasoning. Okay, and of course we also define what a theory is all about, and I also gave you the definition of theory in my book. Okay, of course the title of my book is Academic Research the Easy Way. Okay, so we also discussed some learning theories. Okay, so for more discussion about this, okay, as I've said, please refer to my previous video, which is of course the topic 1. It's about quantitative research. Okay, so we also discussed this. Okay, and the theory of evolution and the theory of natural selection. Okay, the number theory. Okay, and of course, yes, we also ask what makes the cake the way it is. Okay, and why do people behave the way they do? Okay, there's a theory to answer that. And when is the best time to increase your price? There's a theory that can answer that. And why do criminals commit crimes? There are also theories that can answer that. Okay, so that's rationalism. Okay, because of our logical reasoning, we can actually formulate theory. Okay, so now let's proceed to empiricism, which challenge, okay, rationalism, because according to empiricist or an empiricist, okay, would argue that the rationalist or those who believes in rationalism principle or philosophy are actually missing the point. Okay, so they use the reason, but actually they should have to provide evidence. Okay, so that's the reason why the one who believes in empiricism or philosophy of empiricism should undergo systematic observation, measurement, and experimentation, and that's of course the entirety of having the scientific method. Okay. Now, the empiricism and rationalism were challenged by positivism, constructivism, and pragmatism, because positivism would like to combine both the rationalism and empiricism, meaning, as a positivist, okay, or in positivism principle or philosophy, we just need to combine the logical reasoning and scientific method, because theories need to be verified. However, positivism was challenged by post-positivism because, yes, theory needs to be verified, but actually the post-positivist believes that theories are hard to verify. But of course, it's possible to reject false beliefs. So there's just a quite an enhancement of positivism with post-positivism. But of course, post-positivism still believes that we need to combine rationalism and empiricism principles. Okay, so I was able to give you a basic example that it's really hard to verify a theory, like for example the Big Bang theory, because in the first place we were not there during the beginning of everything. But of course science, okay, the post-positivists try to argue that we can actually have this reductionist approach. We can study atoms and subatomic particles to understand the universe and its origin in order to reject false beliefs about the origin of the universe. So in that way, we can indirectly prove or verify a theory with our beliefs being, rejected or not being rejected or being accepted. Okay, so that's post-positivist. Okay, so now when we say positivism and post-positivism, they are all equated to quantitative research, or they are actually principles or philosophies associated with quantitative research. But when you say, okay, anti-positivist or constructivism, this is actually linked to qualitative research, which is our discussion this today. No, so pragmatism, of course, challenge positivist and constructivist or anti-positivist, because pragmatism principle is actually a combined positivism and anti-positivism. Sabi ng pragmatism philosophy na wag na kayong mag-away-away, no, quantitative at qualitative, or positivist or post-positivist, and anti-positivist or constructivist, because we can actually combine, or we can make use of we can make the two view as a cycle of research. So that's why there's what we call mixed method of research, and that's the philosophy of pragmatism. Okay, so this is the bird's eye view of everything, okay, of what I've just discussed. And of course, the more specific, once again, of this explanation is found, okay, in my first lecture, or yeah, here. So please visit my YouTube channel. So rationalism, empiricism, that would result to positivism or either anti-positivism, or quantitative research and qualitative research. These are the foundation of these two researches. Now, if you combine quanti and quali, okay, that will lead you to mixed method, which is the philosophy of pragmatism. So this is the definition, or I mean the point of contrast between qualitative and quantitative research. Okay, so it's inductive. Okay, when you say quali, and quantitative is deductive. Okay, so yeah, so since it's deductive, quantitative research should start from general down to specific, or from theory to hypothesis. That's logical reasoning, of course. That's the implementation of rationalism principle, down to empiricism, which is you would use survey or experimentation or scientific method prior to hypothesis testing, or in order to to go through hypothesis testing. Okay, now since it's inductive approach, okay, the qualitative research should begin from specific to general. It's the other way around. So a qualitative researcher should start from interview. Okay, of course, that's gathering of data, and that's empiricism principle, and down to formulation of theory. You would analyze, you would come up some themes and so on, and that would lead you to generalization or theory making. And actually, that's rationalism philosophy. Okay, so it's quite clear, okay, because we know that there are philosophies associated with this, quantity or these types of academic researches. Okay, so let me give you some tip on how to get started with your academic research, particularly quanti and quali. But this time, okay, it's qualitative research that we're going to discuss. Okay, so you have to observe, read, and think. Okay, these are the things that I told you. Okay, with my previous videos or my prior to this one. So let's begin. Okay, with this one. Now, you see, okay, these are some of the animals that Charles Darwin, okay, was able to observe in the Galapagos Island during his voyage to the island. Okay, so now, but before, of course, Darwin was able to formulate the philosophy of, I mean, the theory of evolution and primarily, of course, it started with the theory of natural selection. Charles Darwin observed, okay, thought, and read the works of others before he was able to formulate his theory. Okay, and this were John Baptist, Thomas Malthus, James Hutton, and Charles Lyell. Okay, so these are the influential, thinkers and scientists and philosophers during his time that Darwin, okay, looked up to, and he was able to read their works. Okay, now let's take the case of Thomas Malthus. Okay, in 1798, Thomas Malthus reasoned that if the human population grew unchecked, there wouldn't be enough space and food for everyone. Okay, it makes sense anyway. Yeah, and Charles Darwin, of course, was able to tried to follow that line of thought. Okay. But of course, when you go, of course, what struck Darwin in Essay in the Principle of Population was Malthus' observation that in nature, okay, this is the empiricism because there's an observation. So in nature, plants and animals produce far more offspring than can survive, and that man too is capable of overproducing if left unchecked. So Malthus concluded that unless family size was regulated, man's misery of famine would become globally epidemic and eventually consume man. Okay, so that's the argument, and I think that's the bottom line from the observation to the conclusion or generalization of his observation. Okay, that's the rationalism part. So see, okay, that's inductive reasoning from specific to general. I'm just showing you, okay, that Malthus began with observation, and then from those observations or series of observations, Malthus was able to conclude or say something about his observation. Okay, and that's actually the philosophy of rationalism. Okay, and in general, this is what we call inductive reasoning from specific to general. Okay. So that's qualitative research. That's the beauty of qualitative research. So humans are capable of farming and producing. This would counteract to Malthus' view. Yeah. Assuming, of course, that humans are not able to, are not capable of farming and are able to produce technology. Of course, we can be outnumbered, okay, or the food production can be outnumbered by the increase of population because it's geometric. Okay, the increase in population is geometric while it's linear. Our food production is linear. So this would counteract Malthus' view that humans are capable of farming and producing technology for food production for them to survive even amidst population growth. And animals at the Galapagos Island didn't have the means to produce their technology for food production. That's a sort of observation. Yeah. So if we apply the idea or the concept or the theory of Malthus to humans, okay, it might not be applicable at some point. But if we try to apply this to, you know, um, um, animals that are not capable of, farming or even, having technology for their survival. Okay, I think what Malthus was trying to argue could apply. So it just makes sense that, Charles Darwin, okay, traveled or arranged a voyage to the Galapagos Island. So therefore, a population increase will leave others to die while the fittest may survive or adapt to their environment. That could be our formulation from our observation. So that's, I think, formulation of the theory. So still, okay, I'm just showing you here the principle of qualitative research, that it should start from, specific to general, and that is actually inductive reasoning, okay, from empiricism principle down to rationalism principle. Okay, that's inductive reasoning from general to specific. Okay. So qualitative research is constructing theory or formulating hypothesis. Unlike quantitative research, that you have to test the hypothesis because you have to, verify a false belief or not. I mean, if you would verify if a certain belief is false or not. Okay, but here, okay, you need to, you can actually at the end of the study, you can formulate the hypothesis because you are constructing a theory. But you may ask, but why did Charles Darwin begin with a theory by anchoring his theory on a theoretical framework generated from Malthus and other experts? Well, some would argue that, Charles Darwin wasn't, anchoring on a certain theory, but of course, I just shown you earlier that his work, his fascination to know more was actually based on the prior philosophy and ideas or even theories of other experts. Okay, like for example, we cited the case of Malthus. So yeah, it just makes sense that here Darwin was trying to deconstruct a theory, and that I think the theory of Malthus was refined and enhanced at some point, and it grew deeper. And that's the reason why Charles Darwin was able to come up with the theory of natural selection, or even in general the theory of evolution. So what did Charles Darwin initiate is theory deconstruction, another capacity of constructivism philosophy or qualitative research. Okay, so let's just put it that way, that Charles Darwin might have initiated a theory deconstruction. Yeah, because some would argue that Darwin, okay, was doing the inductive approach of scientific investigation. Especially, it was aligned to the philosophy or idea of, Bacon. Okay, so let's have another example here. Okay, so I told you that everything should start from observation here. Okay, especially if you're gonna pursue with the qualitative research. Okay, so you need to observe. Okay, so this is a common observation today because we are in, we are um, still experiencing the pandemic. So as educators, okay, you know that children, okay, are having distance learning, and many of our students are having distance learning, and that includes, of course, the online learning, aside from the other modality like the modular scheme. So of course, because of the coronavirus, okay, many schools were closed. Okay, these are just some of the observations we can observe. Okay, we try to observe around, or we try to observe the things around us today. So based on your observation, read to find any study or theory in line with online learning. For example, because you observe about online learning, so read more about online learning, and for any research gap where you can potentially create, construct, or deconstruct a theory later. Okay. So after that, you have to think based on your observation and reading, ask questions. Why many students didn't turn their videos on in their online class? This is based on your, of course, observation. And in your reading, okay, of course, perhaps you were able to find out a research gap that there are, studies, okay, conducted or not. I mean, studies that are not yet conducted regarding this, the your inquiry, your question. Okay, so that's a very good question anyway. So if there's a research gap for it. So explain briefly what you want to pursue in your qualitative research. I'm just trying to, help you here, okay, how to formulate or how to construct your, qualitative research, the foundation, the backbone of your qualitative research. So to find out the reasons why many students don't turn their videos on in their online class, that's part of your observation. So the research gap, is there any reason to know more about your observation based on the literature? Of course, there's a massive distance or online learning modality and in the Philippines, and this is something new here in this country. So this is a relevant gap in the literature under the Philippine setting or scenario. So yeah, posible or magandang pag-aralan yan if may research gap talaga. And now let's proceed to the formulation of your statement of the problem, because you now have your research gap. The purpose of this statement of problem are actually to ask questions that if you can answer these questions at the end of your study, this will actually fill in the research gap. Okay, that's the arrangement, the organization of thought there. Okay, especially if you are trying to come up with a qualitative research. So what do the students or learners think or feel about online learning modality? That's one question. Okay, now look at your question here. Okay, it's not leading actually. Okay, or yeah, but it may sound okay leading here, but of course when you ask questions, okay, during the interview, do not ask directly your students, okay, like what do you feel, what do you think about online learning modality? You might simply ask, okay, what are your experiences during? Could you please tell me about your experiences during the online learning or during the online learning mode? Or I mean, online mode of learning. Okay, you can ask this question instead of directly asking your the question you have in your statement of the problem, because you see here your question here is it may sound leading to some. Okay, like you are asking them to feel something. Okay, but of course it would just the feeling would just flow naturally if you begin asking them about their experience, and that's quite not biased, that's quite fair. Okay, because you are asking the experience, and along the way, okay, you can actually just identify that experience. Okay, or you can identify what's their feeling about this experience. Okay, and that's part of your analysis later. So what I'm trying to say here is you need to be creative in your questioning during the gathering of data. But there's another video for that. Okay, so let's proceed to the second question, the probable research question that you may ask about your observation and research gap. So what do the students or learners think or feel about turning their videos on in their online class? That could be. Or number three, what is the link between the students' perceptions towards online learning modality and their perceptions towards turning their videos on in their online class? So yeah, so we can actually, that's part of the analysis later, that we can, we can find for any connection between, the data you come up with asking question number one and asking question number two. So yeah, so that would lead you to the formulation of theory later. So what are appropriate intervention designs for the online learners? Of course, number four is for the benefit of the institution, or for for more significance of your study. Okay, it's good, to come up with appropriate intervention, but this intervention are based on the empirical data that you can generate later. Okay, so after that, you can come up with your temporary or proposed research title. And it could be like this, okay? It sounds sexy, or I don't know if it sounds sexy, or yeah, it sounds that way. But you can be creative. But my point here is you can be creative enough in, as I told you, research is both science and art, okay? Because it needs your creativity. It's an art because it needs your creativity. So teachers digital eyes the lived experience of online learners with online videos in their online class. Okay, so that could be a possible okay research title. So let's review. So may I ask you, does academic research begin with title formulation? And in philosophy and principle, where does qualitative research begin? What makes qualitative research fit for construction or deconstruction of theories? Okay, so it's for you to, answer. Okay, the answer to that question is actually a sort of review or concepts and ideas we just discussed earlier. Okay, so once again, okay, you may join my webinar to earn a 15 CPD units, and the accreditation number, of course, is PTR 2021354129. You may email me at contact@apalma.info for more inquiries or information. Okay, so once again, okay, these are my contact details. You can email me once again at contact@apalma.info or contact me at contact@apbpublishing.com. My mobile numbers are the following: 093690314746 or 0919989090. You can visit my websites at https://www.apbpublishing.com or www.apalma.info. My YouTube channel is Artelo Palma PhD Life Ideas Books, and my Shopee store is Fun with Learning Bookshop. By the way, at the right side, okay, you can see my book. It's my published research book, Academic Research the Easier Way. You can actually buy it on Shopee, and in some national bookstore, you can find my books, especially in Davao City, in National Bookstore in Davao City. So yeah, so I think that's all. Okay, thank you very much. I hope you have uh, you learned many things today. Thank you.